Hey, slopers, plus those who really aren't slopers but are just obsessed with me for some reason. You know who you are. Welcome, and I wanted to mention one quick at the urging of some readers, particularly those who don't see ads. I have finally, after about 7 years, put a little donate button here. So if you feel that this free service gives you value and you want to kick a few bucks my way to say thanks, it's appreciated. Particularly if you don't see ads, because as you know, ads are kind of the only source of revenue for this little enterprise. So just thought I would mention it. Donate button is live. Now, also live today was the market. And thank God in heaven, this confounded triangle pattern finally broke. This thing has been torturing us. I mean, all this is torture. Tease right here, and then finally, blammo, finally cuts through. So if tomorrow the market's up 15 points, BFD, because all it's doing is retracing to the bottom of this. In fact, it actually would be perversely kind of good if it was up 15 points, because it would make even better prices to short at. It is kind of strange to think that the market has generally been going down since the 13th. It doesn't feel that way at all. It feels like it's been really a miserable market to trade until quite recently. But I think all this chop was what made it seem so dreadful. As we back it up to 120 days, get a bit of more perspective here. So there's that triangle pattern. My target on this is about 1150. I'm not calling for the S&P to crash to 500 tomorrow. This is a very sensible, cool-headed projection. As far as the NQ goes, I've dulled up that pattern a bit more with this diamond, and target here is about 2150. So again, these are kind of measured targets, and just like yesterday afternoon, both markets were kind of up after the close. It's doing the same stuff now, no surprise, and in a way kind of comforting. Seeing this get back to anywhere around here would be just totally fine. No problem. As I mentioned during the course of the blog today, watching bonds was kind of interesting considering what was going on. It did get above this level and kind of normal volume there. Next thing is to cross this sucker right here. If we can cross that, it's off to the races. Little indeterminate at this point. It actually did a beautiful job getting up to that trend line, but didn't cross it. Might cross it tomorrow. Tomorrow, there's really nothing in the way of planned news tomorrow. There's nothing. So unless there's some other stupid European thing coming out by surprise, it's going to be quiet with respect to news. Let us take a look at some indexes here. CompQ, pretty nice here. We've crossed beneath this line, which I've been watching. That's pretty damned encouraging. This was a very large range that it was in. We're back into that range now, so that's pretty sweet. Dollar HUI, the Gold Bugs Index, we continue to descend within this range, a la, pick a point anywhere in here, given this analog. SML, similar to Russell 2000, very clean, even descent. Everyone was like freaking like we were down 900 points today or something. I mean, this is a very modest drop, just like 1% plus on the small cap. So I like the orderly drop better than the kind of pandemonium thing going on. I would also note that the financials, which a couple of weeks ago you could have made an argument for them turning around, that argument's rendered moot at this point. Here's Bank of America. This base is gone. and it's back into this kind of like slow burn. I mean, just this is so steady. I mean, the way this is going, there was this ridiculous thing. I don't even remember what that was about. Probably Uncle Warren said he was buying it. God knows, who cares? I mean, it was this pop, and then they're all losers now, whoever bought it. As far as the wonderful world of precious metals, silver got zapped. I didn't have a short in silver. I did have a short in SLW, which did pretty nicely. Clearly, this could get to 29 and still be within the confines of that ascending channel. If it breaks that, I mean, wow, just wow. Doug, which is an ETF that I think is pretty cool, had a nice 4.3% rise today, bouncing off this very handsome double bottom. If we got into a rip-roaring fall again, we could have another one of these kinds of explosive ascents. And the even more highly leveraged one, ERY, continues to do a yeoman's job holding things up in spite of the bullish attempts to push things higher, which is kind of upside down like that. This is doing very nicely as a directional change indicator. I mentioned shorting oil yesterday after having left it alone for a long time, and that turned out to be pretty good. And here's the cute little doji yesterday when it peaked on USO, and it fell almost 3% today. And a couple of ETFs that I really like, XLB, these are rather similar. XLB, beautiful head and shoulders, drop, retrace, and in kind of similar vein, XLI, not down quite as much, but this is, I mean, you can look from this perspective and see how far these things have come from the depths of early 09 up until the peak in May of this year. So really good looking topping formation. What else? This is going to be a surprisingly short recap because I don't have much in the way of specific items to talk about. I did have a nice success with network appliances. I covered it earlier today. I think it could have a little more to fall, but I just decided to kind of take the money and run with this one. But this shows how it had gapped down hard, worked its way back up to this former support level, now resistance, and then fell yet again. One thing I covered like a week ago or something like that, and kind of wish I hadn't, is Abercrombie and Fitch. Please note that in the bear market back in 08, this thing fell, retraced, and then fell and fell and fell and fell and fell. This is just a glorious sight. Looks like kind of history repeating itself because we gapped down hard, and I covered on this day that it gapped down because I saw this trend line and figured that it might bounce off of that. It didn't. It actually cracked the trend line, and yesterday fell real hard. So my opportunity to get back in again, should it arrive, would be any approach of 55. If this thing got anywhere near 55, I would short a lot of it. This is the skanky teen clothes maker A&F, Abercrombie and Fitch. So anyway, a good day, and we'll see how Friday tomorrow wraps up for us. And to folks who read the blog regularly, I appreciate it. Traffic's been nice and steady in spite of a lot of frustrating circumstances in trading. And I really do appreciate your presence and support of the Slope of Hope. It's a very nice community we've got, and I appreciate the way we support one another. So let's keep it the one pleasant bastion in a morass of rather foul financial content out there. It's a good group, and I'm glad you're a part of it, so thank you. That's it from me, and I bid you adieu and a good evening.